In this video, I'll show you how to create the swap items block in lab5. So let's look at the requirement. We want to create a command block that takes three parameters, the first two indices and a list. And the job of this block is to swap the two items identified by the indices in the list. Okay, so let's go to our snap environment. So we need to create a block. It's called swap x and y in list. Okay, so it's a command block, and then I'm gonna add the three parameters. So let's see, for lack of a better name, I'll call it A. I'll call the second one B, and the last one I'll call it list. Okay, so now the way the list works is a list is a collection of things, and then but the indices are the location uh, of the items in the list. So for a list of size n, we have from 1 to n as the indices. 1 for the first item, 2 for the second, so on and so forth. So to swap the two, we need what we can do is we need to modify the list. So there's one called replace. So given a item index or item ID with a list, we can replace the item with anything we want. So, and then we also have a way to find the item in a list at a particular index. Okay, so let's see, we can find where the item stored at index A. We can also find items stored at index B in the list. Okay, so let's see whether this works. So we can replace, what we can do is we can replace the item at index A in the list with the item at index B of the same list. Okay, that's gonna copy B to the item at index B to item at index A. And then you might think that what we can do next is to copy what is at index A to index B of the same list. Okay, well, let's give it a try. So I'm gonna click on OK. I'll drag our block, newly created block, and then use a list to test it. So I'm gonna create a list on the fly. I'm gonna call it one. Okay, let's make it a five items long. So 2, 3, 4, 5. So now, actually, I'm gonna call it L1, L2 to just differentiate the content from the actual index of the items. So I'm gonna swap items at index 1 with items stored at index 3. Okay, so the result we would expect is this L1 and L3 should get swapped. Let's see what we get. Actually, let's do this. I'm gonna create a variable and call it my list. The reason I do that is if I create a variable here, I can actually make it appear there so that I can we can see what's inside the list and see the result when it's changed. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. So I basically create a variable, I'd assign a list to that variable, and then I use the variable to represent the list. So let's run it. Okay, so I have L1, L2, L3, L4, L5. Oh, I actually accidentally used 1 here. So let's change it to L. Okay, let's try it. So after we run the block, you see that L3 is copied to L. Oh well, the item at index 3 is copied to item at index 1, but whatever is at index 1 is not copied to uh, the index 3. Okay, the reason is this. As soon as we copy this item at index B to this index A, we overwrote whatever is there. So we basically now L3 is at index 1, and when we try to copy whatever at index 1 to whatever at index 3, we basically get the same value back. So that's why L3 appears twice. So to avoid that from happening, we have to preserve the value to create a copy of the value at index A, the first index, so that we after it's overwritten in the list, we still have a copy. So I'm gonna call actually change it to another name called item. So now I set item to the whatever at index A of the list. Now when I copy this over, I just copy the item. Okay, so now let's look at it. We have an item, a script variable, a variable that works only in this block, and we use it to store temporarily the item A of list, and then we replace whatever at index A with whatever at index B. So this copies an item over, and then we use the preserved item used to be at index A, and we copy that over to index to the item at index B. So effectively, we swapped the two items stored at these two indices. Okay, let's give it a try. So we start with a list and we run it. Okay, as the result, L1 and L3 are swapped. Let's try something else. I'm going to swap the first one and the last one. Okay, so now L5 and L1 are swapped. That's it.